Namaste to all. Welcome to online classes of Vivekananda Pre-University College. I am Shruti. We are dealing with the topic relations and functions. In the last class, we have studied some special type of functions and how to plot the graphs of such functions. So, and today we will continue with that. Okay, we will have some special functions and how to draw the graphs of such functions. Now, that is. The function is modulus function. Modulus function. What is a modulus function? A function defined by a function f from R to R defined by f of x is equal to mod x. We call this as mod x. Mod x for each x belongs to R is called modulus function. Okay, modulus function. Okay, this is modulus function. Okay, now the definition comes out to be like this: f of x is equal to x if x is greater than or equal to 0 and minus x if x is less than 0. This is the definition of modulus function. How? F of x is equal to x if x is greater than or equal to 0 and f of x is equal to minus x if x is less than 0. Now, how would be the graph of such function? Graph of modulus function. Let's draw the graph. Graph of modulus function. Y axis, x axis, x dash, y dash. Okay. Now 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6 and minus 8. And here 2, 4, 6 and 8, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6 and minus 8. Okay, this is about the initial setting. Now, see what happens if x is equal to 0. We have mod x is 0. So, 0 comma 0 is a point. Okay, what happens if x is equal to plus 1? If x is equal to plus 1, x is strictly greater than 0. What does that mean? Function value is x itself, that is 1 comma 1 is a point. 1 comma 1 is a point. What happens if x is equal to minus 1? If x is equal to minus 1, then x is less than 0. So, the value of the function is minus x, that is plus 1. So, minus 1 comma plus 1 is a point. This is a point. Right. Now, what happens if x is equal to 2? 2 comma 2 is a point. Mod x is 2 and for 3 it is again 3, again 3 and 4, 4 and here in the negative side what happens if I get x is equal to minus 2, then my mod x is plus 2. For x is equal to minus 3 I have plus 3. Okay, plus 3 and for x is equal to minus 4 I have plus 4 as the function value. Okay, okay, this is about the graph, and if I join the dots, what I will get? I will get a graph which is shaped like V shaped graph I will get. This is the graph of f of x is equal to mod x for x belongs to R. This is the graph of the modulus function. I hope you are clear with this. Now, let's move on to next type of function. Next type of function is signum function. Okay, signum function. Now, you are clear with the modulus function. Now, we are going to see what is a signum function. Signum function. Signum function. Okay, function define f from R to R, it's a real valued function, and real function it is, defined by f of x is equal to 1 if x is greater than 0, 0 if x is equal to 0, and minus 1 if x is less than 0. Okay? For each x belongs to R is called signum function. Signum function. Okay? Now, see how can we define signum function? F of x is equal to 1 if x is greater than 0, f of x is equal to 0 if x is equal to 0, and f of x is equal to minus 1 if x is less than 0. This is how signum function looks like. We can define signum function like this also. See, f of x is equal to mod x divided by x for x is not equal to 0, and 0 if x is equal to 0. This also gives the same thing as the signum function. Okay? See, we already know that mod x is equal to x if x is greater than 0, and mod x is equal to minus x if x is less than 0. So what happens if x is, see, x equal to 0 is dealt separately, the value is 0 itself. And what happens if x is greater than 0? Then modulus of x is x itself. So if x is greater than 0, we have the function value f of x is equal to mod x is x there. So x by x, that is f of x is equal to 1 we get for x greater than 0, and for x less than 0 we get mod x is equal to minus x. So minus x divided by x would be equal to minus 1. So if x is less than 0 we get minus 1 as the function value. So if x is equal to 0, we are done, it is 0 itself. So that coincides with signum function. So we can write like this also. Now by looking at this, can you tell me what is the domain and range of the function signum function? What is the domain? Domain is obviously set of all real numbers R. Okay, what is the range? Range of signum function is, by looking at the definition itself, you can easily say what is the range of the function. Range of the function is, it is a set consisting of minus 1, 0 and 1. This is the range of the signum function. So I think you are clear with this. So now we are going to draw the graph of signum function. How would be the graph? Y-axis, x-axis, x dash, y dash, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4, okay. Here 1, 2, 3 and 4, here minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4. This is about the initial setting for the for drawing the graph. Now what is the value for x is equal to 0? We have the definition itself is function value is 0 itself. So here this is the point, and if x is greater than 0, what we'll get? We'll get the function value to be 1, right? 1. For any x greater than 0, we have the function value to be 1. So for 1.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0. So on, what we'll get? The function value will be equal to 1. And whatever my x, if I take x to be 100 itself, then my function value must be equal to 1 here. So this is also here 1. And for 0, it is 0. So I will exclude this point here and I will get a straight line. This will continue. Okay. And what happens if my x is negative? So if I take minus 1, what is my f of x? F of x if I take x to be minus 1, what is my x? X is strictly less than 0. That implies f of x is equal to minus 1, right? So this is equal to minus 1 here. What if my x is equal to minus 0.5? Then also my f of x would be equal to minus 1. Why? By the definition. So what I'll get is, here I'll get an break, and here from here onwards I'll get a straight line parallel to x-axis. This will continue a straight line parallel to x-axis. This is the graph of signum function. F of x is equal to mod x divided by x for x not equal to 0, and 0 if x is equal to 0. This is the graph of the function signum function. So I hope this is clear to you. Now let's move on to the next type of function, that is greatest integer function. I hope this much is clear to you. Now let's move on to the next type of function, that is greatest integer function. These are the things regarding signum function. Now moving on, we will have greatest integer function. Greatest integer function. Greatest integer function. A function f from R to R defined by f of x is equal to greatest integer function. We call this type of function as a greatest integer function, box x, that is x written inside a box. For each x belongs to R. We call this as, what is it? It is, that means the greatest integer less than or equal to x. Okay, greatest integer less than or equal to x. Greatest integer less than or equal to x. This is about the definition of greatest integer function. Now let's see what does that imply. Okay, if I have x to be, my x to be, say if I have my x to be 0, then what is the greatest integer less than or equal to 0? That is 0 itself. Greatest integer less than or equal to 0 is 0 itself. Why? 0 is an integer. So the greatest integer less than or equal to 0 is 0 itself. See, we can see this in the real line. I have 0 here, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. I have so many numbers here, integers here. Okay. See, if I take 0.5, my x is equal to 0.5. Okay, x is equal to 0.5. What is my greatest integer x for x equal to 0.5? See, 0.5 is not an integer. Okay, it is not an integer. What is the greatest integer less than or equal to 0.5? Clearly, 0.5 is not an integer. So we can't write 0.5 baralla. What is the greatest integer less than that? 0.5 ಗಿಂತ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ integers ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ. 0 is an integer less than 0.5. Minus 1 is an integer less than 0.5. Minus 2 is also an integer less than 0.5. But what I need to get is greatest among those integers. That is, the answer is 0 is the required answer. 0 is the greatest integer less than or equal to 0.5. So I get this to be equal to 0. Now tell me, if my x is equal to 1, what is the greatest integer function? Greatest integer x is equal to 1 itself. Okay, right. Then if my x is equal to 1.5, what is my greatest integer x? Greatest integer x 1.5. Greatest integer is, see, 1.5 is here. The greatest integer less than that is 1. So 1. Okay. So I can write this much here. Greatest integer x is equal to 0 for x less than x lying between 0 and 1. 0 less than or equal to x less than 1. I get greatest integer x is equal to 0. And greatest integer x is equal to 1 for, okay, greatest integer is equal to, if my x lies between 1 and 2, 1 less than or equal to x less than 2, then what is my greatest integer function? It is equal to 1, right? Similarly, what is my greatest integer? X, if my x lies between -1 and 0, what is it? That is -1, and so on, okay, and so on. So I hope this is clear now. Is it clear for you? I think this is clear now. So let's move on to draw the graph of greatest integer function. How to draw the graph? We'll have the coordinate axis. You will have the coordinate axis x dash, y dash, 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, -4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and here -1, -2, -3 and -4. These are the coordinate axis. What I need to do? I need to draw the graph now. What happens if my x lies between 0 and 1? For 0 it is 0. Till 0.9 itself, the greatest integer less than or equal to 0.9 is 0. Greatest integer less than or equal to 1.5 is 1. See, greatest integer less than or equal to 0.9 is 1. So till 0.9 I have this 0 as the function value. So this is the thing. Here also for 1 I have greatest integer less than or equal to 1 is 1. So like this I have here an open. And again for 2 greatest integer less than or equal to 2 is 2. And for 3 again greatest integer less than or equal to 3 is 3. Okay, like this I get steps. Similarly in the negative side I have an open thing here. See, greatest integer less than or equal to -1 is -1. So here like this I get. Okay, here also greatest integer less than or equal to 3 is -3 is -3. Here also greatest integer less than or equal to -4 is -4, -4, like this. See, look at the graph. This is the graph of the function f of x is equal to greatest integer x. F of x is equal to greatest integer x. We call this as greatest integer function, and the graph comes out to be like this, like steps. We call this function as step function also, since the graph looks like steps, stays, right? So we call this function as step function also. So this is about the graph of greatest integer function. This is about the graphs. Now after this we will get some algebra of functions. Okay, let's move on to that. This is about the special type of functions. Now let's move on to the algebra of functions. Okay, I hope this is clear for you. Okay, now coming to the algebra of functions. Algebra of functions. Okay, what is algebra of functions? See, we have addition, subtraction of numbers, right? So we are doing the addition, subtraction, multiplication or multiplication by a scalar for the functions. That is known as algebra of functions. We have addition of functions, subtraction of functions, and a multiplication of two functions, and quotient also. So first thing is addition of functions. Okay, addition of functions. Let f from x to r and g from x to r be any two real functions. These are any two real functions. Okay, real functions. What does that mean? X is a subset of R. Okay, X is a subset of R. Now we define addition of functions f and g, f plus g from x to r as, we define this as how? F plus g of x is equal to f of x plus g of x for each x belongs to the domain x. This is how we define the addition of two functions f and g. Both f and g are real functions, and how we define the addition of f and g, f plus g. F plus g is the addition of f and g. F plus g of x is equal to f of x plus g of x for every x belongs to the domain x. This is about the addition of two functions. Now coming to the next algebra, that is subtraction of functions. Okay, subtraction of functions. We have two functions, clearly real functions f and g as it is given here. Now how we define the subtraction of f and g? That is, we define f minus g from the set x to r by how f minus g of x is equal to f of x minus g of x for each x belongs to x. Okay, this is how we define the subtraction of any two functions. Now coming to the multiplication by a scalar. What is a multiplication by a scalar? Multiplication by a scalar. I hope you are clear with this. Addition of functions and subtraction of functions. Now we are at multiplication by a scalar or a real number. See, if we have alpha is a scalar or real number, then multiplication by alpha to a function. If f is a function, we have a function f from x to r, then multiplication by a scalar alpha, we denote that as alpha f. It is a function from x to r. Okay, we define this function as alpha f of x is equal to alpha into f of x for each x belongs to the domain x. This is how we define the multiplication by a scalar. Note that alpha is a scalar, that is, it is a real number. Multiplication by alpha by a scalar alpha is defined like this: alpha f of x is equal to alpha into f of x. This is how we define multiplication by a scalar. And now we have multiplication of two functions. This is about the multiplication by a scalar number, scalar alpha, right? Now we have multiplication of two functions. That's how we define multiplication by a scalar as, multiplication of functions as, multiplication of functions. Multiplication of functions. First, what we need to have? We need to have two functions, real functions f and g from the same domain x. Then we will define the multiplication fg from x to r by how we define it? We will define that multiplication as fg of x is equal to f of x into g of x, f of x into g of x for each x belongs to the domain x. This is how we define multiplication of any two real functions. Now, we call this type of multiplication as pointwise multiplication. Pointwise multiplication. We call such multiplication as pointwise multiplication. Okay, this is known as the multiplication of two functions. Now coming to the quotient of two functions, we have seen what are rational functions. We have seen rational functions, right? What are rational functions? Rational functions are the functions of the type f of x divided by g of x, where f of x and g of x both are polynomial functions and denominator g of x is not equal to 0. Such functions are known as what? Rational functions. Now coming to the quotient of two functions, quotient of functions, how we define it? We have similar, we have two functions f and g from the same domain x, both are real functions. We define f by g from x to r as f by g of x is equal to, f by g of x is equal to f of x divided by g of x, provided what? Provided what? Denominator should not vanish. That is, denominator g of x must not be equal to 0. This is the condition. So with this condition, we will define the quotient of two functions f and g. This is about the algebra of functions. I hope you are clear with this. So in the next class, we will study some examples regarding this. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.